Hey guys, Josh here again with Windy City Equipment. Moving on with our PM series, preventative maintenance. I want to talk today real quick about what should be included in a PM contract. Okay, now this is a tricky question, okay, because you guys know as well as I do that it seems more and more these days customers are actually providing us a list of what they want done, which is fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a little frustrating sometimes because we as the professionals, have our own list and our own way of doing things. So, as far as what should be included in a PM contract, I'm going to say obviously, filters and belts should always be included. Even if they have somebody who does that, or they allow their managers, whatnot, to change the filters themselves or the belts themselves, I really don't think it's a good idea. Ultimately, if you're performing preventative maintenance, you are responsible for that piece of equipment. So if somebody else fails to do what they're supposed to do, guess who gets held accountable and responsible? You, right? And I'm sure you've all been in that position before, both customers and service companies. So anyway, what should be included is cleanliness. Cleaning all the coils, like I said, replacing filters, belts, that kind of thing. And there's a fine line too, and it depends on the market as well. I'm here in Arizona. We're in a very dusty market, very poor water quality. We see a lot of calcium buildup, very hard water here. So like descaling, steamers and ice machines and hot boxes and things of that nature require a little bit more often here in Phoenix, where they may not be needed as often somewhere else. But a lot of algae buildup and that kind of thing if you don't have your ice machines PM'd, at least once a quarter, at the bare minimum. Sometimes it takes once every other month, depending on volume or lack thereof, and stagnant water, whatever. But getting back to what I had mentioned just a minute ago about customers providing their own list of things that they want done. Again, there's nothing wrong with this, but I think that it's important to manage expectations here as well. When a service company bids out a PM, okay, they do it based on their own checklists and their own priorities and their own thinking as far as what needs to be maintained and how. So if a service company gives you a price based on that, you need to expect what they're going to do. So you need to ask them to furnish you a list as a customer. Now, if a customer provides a service company the list, that's also fine, but just know that the price is most likely going to be adjusted because there's things on there, or it's lacking things, that varies from the standard pricing that the service company usually goes by. So, and please realize too, and service companies, you'll know what I'm talking about. Customers, maybe not, but there are certain things that customers may want included that service companies just can't include. Either it takes too much time, or it just, most of the time it's really just, it takes too much time. We talked before about being able to make money on PMs and being able to charge for your time, and things like that. There are certain things that are just above and beyond a PM agreement. You ever try cleaning the back flue of a fryer that's been in operation for 6 years? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so that can't be included in a PM agreement because it could very well take you 3 hours to scrape all that crap out of the flue. Okay, here's another example. Drain lines. Drain lines are obviously, they should be cleared. Okay, and it's not uncommon for drain lines to get clogged. HVAC units, not a big deal. They're pretty accessible, right? Well, what about the self-contained units? Should those be included? Should those not be included? If they are included, how much time is budgeted for that? Because remember, it's not just clearing the drain lines, right? You have to usually empty all the product from the coolers or the freezers. You have to sometimes move panels, remove drawers, remove brackets. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done a lot of times to clear these drains, which is fine again, but it needs to be billed accordingly. So if you're a customer and you're saying, okay, you've got to clean these drain lines, then you need to expect those extra charges to be on the bid for that PM. And, just also know that you get what you pay for. So if another company comes in and bids you half the cost of, the first company that you got a bid from, my first question would be to the company that's bidding you half the cost and saying, hey, what are you actually going to do on this? Because if the company isn't charging for that time, you need to start to wonder where they're going to make it up. Where are they going to make that up? And don't think for a minute that they won't, because otherwise they're not going to be in business much longer, right? So if they've been in business for any length of time, they know what they're doing. All right, so complete transparency helps, and this is what I'm trying to get across to people: is you can be transparent and still make money. Both sides still have the same objective, right? So communicate it, talk about it, let people know, and this is what I'm saying. So if you expect one thing, all right, and you're getting bids all over the spectrum, make sure you have clear expectations on both sides of what each party expects, and it will be a whole lot easier. I know this kind of spiraled off away from us. We started off with what should be included in a PM contract, but anyway, that's my viewpoint on it. Anyway, make sure you like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, just don't give me a thumbs down or anything. But if you have any ideas, comment below, shoot me an email, give me a call, something. Sign up for our podcast, our newsletter. We've got a whole lot more stuff coming out this year in 2018. Going to be really exciting. I appreciate everything you guys do, and we'll catch you next week.